Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something kind of fascinating?
I am. What are we looking at today?
Well, we're going to be talking about Dancing with the Stars.
Ooh, fun.
But not just like the show in general, we're going to be looking at the couples.
Okay.
The couples who fell in love on the show.
Ah, the Dancing with the Stars romances.
Exactly. I mean, you've got these celebrities paired with professional dancers, spending hours together and performing these really intense routines.
Right, yeah.
It just seems like there's got to be some, like a connection there. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you think about how physical dance is, you have to be so vulnerable and trusting with your partner.
Yeah.
It makes sense that things could, well, heat up off the dance floor.
Totally. So to really get into this, we've got a few sources.
Oh, cool.
First, there's this list from National World that names 17 couples from like the entire history of the show.
17. Wow.
I know, right? And then we'll look at some articles about specific couples.
Okay. Like who?
Like Daniella Karagach and Pasha Pashkov.
Oh, I love them. They're adorable.
And then Brooks Nader and Gleb Sevchenko.
Ooh, there's some rumors about them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get into all of that. But first, let's take a look at that list of 17 couples. Actually goes all the way back to 2006. And it's pretty interesting how many of the couples involved professional dancers.
Yeah, you're right. Like the Chmerkovskiy brothers, both Val and Max had relationships with their partners.
Val dated Janelle Parrish and Amber Rose. And Max dated and then married Karina Smirnoff.
Yeah. And then there are the couples who got married and had children after meeting on the show.
Like Peta and Max. Right?
Yeah. And Val and Jenna.
Yeah.
And Kim Johnson and Robert Herjavec. Makes you wonder if there's something about a shared passion for dance that, helps relationships last.
It's a good point. But, not all Dancing with the Stars romances have a fairy tale ending.
Right.
The article also mentions couples who broke up.
Oh, yeah, like Alan Burstyn and Alexis Wren.
And Mario Lopez and Karina Smirnoff, and even Max and Karina Smirnoff before he met Peta. It's like Dancing with the Stars is this breeding ground for both serious relationships and like fleeting flings.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then the couples who keep us guessing, like Brooks Nader and Gleb Sevchenko, they were voted off the show pretty early on in season 33.
Right.
But then the rumors started flying almost immediately.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we'll definitely dig into that. It's almost as if the intensity of the show and, the pressure of performing all kind of amplifies emotions.
Yeah. It must make it hard to tell what's real and what's just for the show.
Oh, for sure. Like, are the producers encouraging these romances to boost ratings?
Maybe. It makes you wonder, right? And speaking of on again, off again, can't forget about Emma Slater and Sasha Farber.
Oh, yeah. They got engaged on the show, live, and then got married, and then, sadly, got divorced.
I know, but they still work together on the show after the divorce.
Imagine having to be that professional.
It's incredible, right?
Totally. And then there's Kim Johnson, who ended up with Shark Tank star Robert Herjavec.
It just shows you never know where you'll find love, even if it's not with your dance partner.
Totally. But speaking of dance partners who fell in love, we have to talk about Daniella Karagach and Pasha Pashkov. I mean, they've been dancing together for 16 years, married for 10. They even have a baby daughter now.
They're so sweet together.
They even started a virtual wedding dance school to help other couples.
Wow, that's amazing. They really embody that whole Dancing with the Stars romance,
They do. And think about the dynamic they must have when they perform, especially in a dance like the Rumba.
Oh, yeah. Zoltan's London calls it a dance that's all about expressing deep emotion and connection through movement.
And for anyone who hasn't seen it, the Rumba is often called the dance of love.
Because it's so slow and sensual.
Yeah. And it involves a lot of close contact.
It takes a lot of trust and vulnerability to pull off a good rumba.
Absolutely. So when you have a couple like Daniella and Pasha who already have that real-life connection, their Rumba performances must be extra special.
Oh, definitely.
It's like they're telling their love story through every step. So let's dive deeper into their journey as a couple and then explore the Rumba and why it seems to spark so much romance on the show.
So, Daniella and Pasha, their story actually goes way back, even before Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, really?
Yeah. According to People.com, they met back in, 2009 as dance partners.
Wow. So they've been together for a long time.
A long time. And they've accomplished so much together, too, like competing internationally.
Oh, yeah, they've won tons of titles, right?
Tons. And they even represented the U.S. in, 3 world championships.
That's amazing. All that shared experience, working towards the same goal. That's got to be really powerful for a couple.
Oh, absolutely. Super bonding.
And then, in 2019, they both joined Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. Though Daniela started in the troupe, I think. She didn't become a pro until later.
Right, right. So it must have been interesting for them, going from, like, competing as a couple to competing against each other.
Yeah, I wonder how they handled that.
Well, it seems like they have a very supportive relationship. Like, the People.com article even says they help each other choreograph their routines.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, it really shows how dedicated they are, both to their craft and to each other.
Definitely. They seem to get that. Like, supporting each other's individual growth actually strengthens their bond.
Hmm. It's a really great example of how a shared passion can bring people closer. Now, going back to Brooks and Gleb for a sec, all those dating rumors.
Oh, yeah, those were everywhere.
Do you think there was actually something there, or was it all just for the show?
It's hard to say for sure. I mean, Dancing with the Stars is entertainment, right? So creating chemistry between the partners is kind of part of the deal.
Right, they want to keep people watching.
Exactly. And then you've got to dance like the rumba.
Oh, yeah, with all the close contact and sensual movements.
It definitely adds fuel to the fire.
Definitely. Zoltan's London article even called it like a dance that speaks the language of love through the body.
It's true. Every touch, every gesture is meant to convey all those feelings.
So when you already have a genuine connection, like Daniella and Pasha.
Their rumbas must be on another level.
Right. It's fascinating to think about. It's like the dance itself blurs the lines between what's real and what's just performance.
Totally. It makes you wonder what's going on in their heads while they're dancing. But even if there are sparks on the dance floor, that doesn't always mean a real-life romance, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Like, we've seen couples like Daniella and Pasha who made it work, but plenty of DWTS couples break up too.
Yeah, it seems like that intense environment can be tough on a relationship.
But totally. All those long hours, the pressure of performing, the media attention, it's a lot to handle.
It really is. I mean, it's easy to forget that these are real people with real emotions, and they're going through this crazy experience.
And as we saw with Emma and Sasha, even the strongest seeming relationships can face challenges.
Yeah, though it is impressive that they can still work together after their divorce.
For sure. That takes a lot of maturity and respect, especially in that kind of high-pressure environment.
So we've seen successful DWTS romances and ones that didn't last. But what is it about this show, about dance itself, that seems to create these connections?
That's the big question, isn't it? Is it the physical closeness, the shared creative process, the vulnerability that dance requires?
It could be all of those things.
Right.
I mean, they're spending hours and hours rehearsing together, pushing each other to be their best.
And doing it in such close proximity. Touching, mirroring each other's movements, they're literally in sync.
Yeah. So it's got to create some level of intimacy. And then when you add in the emotional element of dance, the way it lets you express yourself without words.
It's no surprise that sparks fly.
Plus, they're performing in front of, like, millions of people. And there's so much scrutiny.
Yeah, you're totally exposed. So that shared experience, the thrill of performing, putting yourself out there like that, I think that can really bond people.
Oh, for sure. It's like you're going on this crazy adventure together, facing challenges, celebrating victories.
And you can't forget about the costumes.
Aha, yeah. The sparkly, barely there outfits. They got to add to the atmosphere a little bit.
Right. But I think there's also something deeper going on, something about the nature of dance itself. It goes beyond, like, the glitz and glam of the show.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Dance is such a powerful way to communicate. You have to let go of your inhibitions. You have to trust your partner. And you're expressing yourself through movement.
And when you're dancing with someone, especially in a dance as intimate as the rumba, I mean, you're really putting yourself out there.
Exactly. Sharing your vulnerabilities, your passions, even your fears. It's a level of intimacy that, well, you don't find in many other places.
It's almost like Dancing with the Stars creates this, like, special environment.
A little world of its own.
Yeah. Where connections are amplified.
Yeah.
Where people are encouraged to be vulnerable. And where it's hard to tell what's real and what's, just performance.
I love that. It's so true. And even though we might never know for sure what really causes those DWTS romances,
Right.
I think it's clear that that combination of passion, the physical intensity and the emotional vulnerability, well, it creates a space where love can grow.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, we've talked about a lot today, the history of DWTS romances, the rumba, and all the interesting dynamics this show creates. So what are your final thoughts on all of this? What stands out to you the most?
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that human connection can happen anywhere, even on a reality TV show.
Yeah.
Because, that power of shared experience, of vulnerability, and the way we communicate through dance, it can create real intimacy. And sometimes it leads to love.
Well said. And for everyone listening, we want you to think about this. What is it about dance that speaks to you? Maybe you'll be inspired to, dust off your dancing shoes. Or even take a class. Who knows? You might even find your own Dancing with the Stars story waiting to be written.